Welcome to this video in the Microsoft Copilot for Security course. My name is Albert Kirkpatrick, and I'm a Microsoft trainer. In this video, we'll explore the key landmarks, functionalities, and settings that make this tool so valuable for security professionals. The Copilot landing page is your gateway to a wealth of security insights and tools. Key landmarks on this page include the home menu, continue your last session, get started using prompt books, the prompt bar, and the help session. Each of these elements is designed to streamline your workflow and enhance your productivity. Let's take a look at each of these sections individually. From the home menu, you can access several important pages: My Sessions, the prompt book library, owner settings, role assignments, usage monitoring, settings, and the tenant switch. These pages give you quick access to your past sessions, prompt books, which contain previously used prompts and some of the default prompts that come with Copilot for Security, and various settings allowing you to manage your security operations more effectively. Let's take a look at some of those. So here, if I go into the menu, you can see those settings that are associated with your home page. My Sessions, as you can see, brings up a history or a log of your previous sessions. Also allows you to start a new session with Copilot for Security if you would like. The prompt book library is where you can find content that's already been curated to your specific security needs. There's no sense to reinvent the wheel. Before we start looking at analyzing a particular incident, we want to look and see if there are already prompts built in to help our analysis along the way. I mentioned the owner settings, where you can find resource links. This is where you can specify compute units. This is also where you can adjust or change the settings for how much information you share with Copilot for Security. We talked about role assignment and using that principle of least permissions. Well, what roles do we want to be able to assign people to? We can add members just by typing in the member name here. We can see who has what roles as far as owner and contributor level access here in Copilot for Security. Our usage monitoring is where we can evaluate whether or not we're allocating processing units effectively. As we saw, we can provision SCUs, but how we use them, how they're allocated, how they're deallocated, we can use based on real-time evaluation of how information is being processed. In this case, you could change the amount of processing units you use per hour up or down and get an idea of what that projected cost will be for you by making those changes. You also see your default settings here, where you can change things like your preferences, your data and privacy statement. And then finally, you can see your tenant switcher. Your tenant switcher is where you can focus or change your focus to whatever tenants have Copilot for Security enabled. So it's kind of a little overview of what those settings mean when we talk about using the things within the home menu. Now, as you saw there, a couple of different little, I want to dive a little deeper into some of the things we saw there. We mentioned the My Sessions page. My Sessions page allows you, as you saw, to create new sessions. You can also go back and open existing ones. So if you're working on analysis of a virus that was affecting a particular endpoint, you may not be able to come to a resolution within that one setting. This is where you can go back and look at the settings there. You can manage them, you can duplicate them, you can delete them, you can edit them. Keep in mind that when a session is deleted, all data associated with that session is marked as deleted, and the time to live is set to 30 days. That means that data is retained within a repository for that long. After 30 days, the time to live expires. Any queries no longer have access to that information. This is separate, though, from logged data within Copilot for Security. Log data can contain session data as well as other things related to Copilot for Security. Log data has a retention period of 90 days. So session data, 30 days, log data, 90 days. All right. Now, the prompt book library, as I mentioned, pre-built and custom prompt books. So what's a prompt book? A prompt book is a collection of prompts. As you start developing, working with Copilot for Security, you may create and identify prompts that work effectively within your environment. What you can do is you can help retain that information. You also have a library of already pre-built solutions to take care of problems that may come up in Copilot for Security. These are stored in the form of prompt books. This allows you not only to execute singular prompts, but a prompt book can act as a repository of multiple prompts that you can execute in tandem. So for example, if you have a prompt that you need to gather information, you could then take the information that you've gathered and evaluate it based on endpoints, and then take those endpoints and evaluate it based on who are the owners of those endpoints. Remember, Copilot for Security is a contextual tool. It understands referential information, so it is able to take a look at the results of something and make evaluations based on what it has been shared or what's been collected by previous things within the same session. You can do all that in just a few clicks. So take advantage of the prompts that are already there. Okay? We saw that owner settings allow you to manage things like resource links to Azure, adjust capacity, adjust billing constraints, and also configure data sharing options. Your data sharing options determine what information you share back. And remember, as we said before, that information is only used for the localized models that we use at Copilot for Security. It's not used for the larger foundational modules that we use for OpenAI in general. You also can leverage role assignments here. One of the things that, as the folks that onboard Copilot for Security, we need to understand the roles that people have, how they play those roles, and what their unique needs are from Copilot. What we want to make sure is that we don't over-provision. We always want to take that principle of least permissions approach, understanding who really needs to contribute to Copilot for Security, who really needs to own it. Those roles should be very narrow, and generally, we don't want to assign those roles unnecessarily. These roles are governed by Entra ID. There are specific roles in Copilot for Security. These are what we use to grant access to the specific features of Copilot for Security: Copilot owner, Copilot contributor. Once again, adopting that principle of least permissions gives us the ability to ensure that that information or that capability is only shared with those that actually need it. Probably one of the more important things that we want to look at when we're evaluating is our deployment of Copilot for Security, is what's being used. How are the things we're allocating, the things that drive our cost, are actually being used? Our usage monitoring dashboard gives us that capability. We get the ability to change or adapt the amount of security compute units that are being allocated. It's flexible and dynamic. It's designed to try to allow us the capability to optimize it based on the actual metrics that we have. We're not locked into a singular purchase. We're not locked into a cost expenditure that's out of line with our actual utilization. So we want to make sure that we invest time in evaluating this page. Note that you can hover over measured elements in this page and get specific utilization metrics around those endpoints that were actually causing compute usage within Copilot for Security. The settings page is where we'll find preferences: theme, language, time zone, once again, data privacy statements, versioning information. These are the kind of things that apply to all users. Users with owner permissions have additional configuration options. Owners can manage plugins for Copilot for Security. They can determine who can add and manage custom plugins. They can also set permissions for file uploads, choosing whether none, contributors, or owners can upload files. Additionally, owners can configure the response debugging level by selecting between summary and verbose options. In many environments, data privacy is important for compliance. The data privacy page gives you links to the privacy statement, our terms and conditions, and any additional information about where data is stored. The About page here offers details about the current version of the app. It also makes you aware of the software that you're actually using in the current revision you're using with that. And lastly, the tenant switcher gives you the ability to change the tenant used by Copilot, even if they log in from a different account. For example, a user logs in using a Fabricant account. They can select the tenant used by Copilot, provided they have tenant access. This flexibility ensures that users can seamlessly switch between different tenants as needed, thus changing the focus as necessary. All right? Now, one of the things that we also see is that this standalone page provides us with the ability to continue our last session. As I said, it not only gives you the ability to go back, but it shows you the last couple of times that you interfaced with Copilot for Security. You can select any of your past sessions, and that takes you directly to that session. So if you were in the middle of resolving a problem with one resource and then got a high priority problem with a different one, once you finish resolving the current situation, you can simply go back into Copilot for Security, go to your My Sessions page, and get right back in or jump right back in with your analysis without losing any kind of context within Copilot. As I said before, that's one of the really great things about leveraging Copilot for Security, is it always remembers the conversation you had. It's like I said, it's having an assistant. That assistant often has better memory than we do. But it does give you that capability to sort of restart or pick up from wherever you left off in the previous environment. Thank you for watching this overview of the features available in the standalone experience of Microsoft Copilot for Security. We hope you now have a better understanding of how to navigate and utilize these tools to enhance your organization's security operations. Stay tuned for more in-depth modules on how to leverage Microsoft Copilot for Security in your daily tasks. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Microsoft Copilot for Security. Stay tuned for more insights and practical applications of this powerful tool. Until next time, stay secure.